Hello, welcome to Code and Tech. Today we are discussing about the virtual function in C++. Before going in detail, let, le- let us discuss about what is the virtual function actually means. In English, it means not physically existing as such but already defined. Let us consider a virtual border between two countries. That means there is a line of control between those two countries, but physically there is no fencing to separate. Here we are discussing about a functions implementation in virtual perspective in C++. Before going in detail, please subscribe and support. Another term of virtual function in C++ is runtime polymorphism. A polymorphism means many forms, each time different behavior. For example, a person can be a brother, a friend, or an employee, depends on situation. Similarly, the case in C++ virtual function. The function call is not statically linked to anything during the compile time. Which function to be executed is decided during the runtime. The function call is executed during the runtime based on the vtable. We will discuss about vtable in another video. Right now you are seeing how to declare a virtual function in C++. We have to use the keyword virtual. Here on the example you can see how I defined a virtual function myfunc. The function name is my_func. So here I have used the keyword virtual. This is how we declare a virtual function in C++. This is time for an example. Let us go to an example. This is the implementation I have created for taking as an example. I have used the CLion tool from the JetBrains. So let me introduce starting from the base.h header file. This is called our base class. So in this base class, here you can see there is a constructor and destructor. So let us skip these two, constructor and destructor, right now, and now we can concentrate on the virtual function. Here there is one virtual function defined, virtual void handler with parameter void, and here you can see the virtual keyword. So this makes this function as a virtual function. Now let us go to another file, bluetooth handler.h. So in bluetooth handler we have a class C bluetooth handler, and which is inherited from the base class C base handler, which we have seen earlier. So here you can see that there is a redefinition of virtual function handler. Here you can see the same definition. In base class we have the same definition, and we have a similar kind of definition in the derived class also. This is how we declare a virtual function. Now let us go to the implementation of bluetooth handler.cpp. Here you can see that the implementation of handler function in bluetooth handler. Here for explanation I have written a print statement here inside the bluetooth handler. But at the same time, if you go to the implementation of base class, we have the base.cpp here. Here also there is one handler function defined, which is called the virtual function, and inside here there is a print statement inside base handler. Now let us go to the main.cpp where I have used these base functions. So here you can see the base class. I have declared a pointer, and this pointer I have initialized with the objects from the derived class. Here you can see. And here one point is to note down is I am calling the derived class object by using the base class pointer. I would like to repeat here, this is the point when we talk about the virtual function. We are going to call a derived class function by using a base class pointer. Now you have doubt, when I call this function handler function, which function will be called? We have the handler function defined in base class here, and also we have the handler function defined in Bluetooth handler here. So actually which function to be called is decided during the runtime. That means while running this section of code, it decides which function to be called. That is why it is called runtime polymorphism. Now we can build and execute this code and see what happens. In the terminal window, you can see the print statement inside C Bluetooth handler. That means while calling this function, actually it called the derived class function. This is how the working of virtual function in C++. Now let us consider a case. What happens if we miss the virtual keyword in the base class? Let us go to the base.h header file and let us remove this virtual keyword. I have removed the virtual keyword in the base class. Let us try to build the function. Build completed successfully, and now try to run this function. Yeah, here you can see in the output the printed out inside the base class. If I remove the base class virtual keyword, then the base class function called. Now let us discuss about what is pure virtual function means. Here you can see how to define a pure virtual function. Here you can see that there is an equal to 0. This means that the virtual function is pure. Actually, the pure virtual function means the derived class must define the function, otherwise the compiler will throw the error. During the example presentation, we can also check about what happens if we don't define a virtual function, a pure virtual function in derived class. Here I am going to insert again the virtual keyword. I want to make this function as pure virtual function. So equal to 0. So now I can delete the implementation in the base class. Let us try to compile. Compiled successfully. Now try to run. Inside Bluetooth handler. So the function which is defined inside our derived class executed successfully. Let us try to check what happens if I do not define the function inside the derived class. Try to build the software. You can see that there is a compiler warning. The pure virtual function is not defined in the derived class. The following virtual functions are pure within C Bluetooth handler, so it must be defined. So the compiler don't allow this. That is the use of pure virtual function. If you define it as a pure virtual function, then we must define the function in the derived class. Finally, I am going to discuss about what is abstract class. A class which is abstract means that we cannot instantiate the particular class. We can directly go to the example. A class where a pure virtual function resides is called it as a abstract class. Let us try to create the object of C base handler. Before that, let us compile and confirm. Here it printed out inside C Bluetooth handler, everything works fine. Now in the main.cpp, I am going to create a new object of class C base handler. So let us compile and see what happens. Here the compiler throws a warning, cannot declare variable object to be of abstract type. That means a class which contains a pure virtual function is considered as an abstract class, and that class cannot be instantiated. This is the idea of abstract class, and here I am stopping the video for now. I will be planning a series of videos for the advanced C++. Please subscribe, like, share, and that will be the inspiration for me to create the new videos. Thank you for watching.